All right, so the Colorado Avalanche lose their first preseason game that featured pretty much all prospects. So fire Bednar, trade McKinnon, trade Rantanen, just get rid of everybody. What's going on, everybody? This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I am your host, Chris Maselli, bringing you another episode of the podcast dedicated to your Colorado Avalanche. So once again, thank you for making this your first listen of the day. And today we will be discussing the Avalanche and their first preseason game. A 4-3 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. Everything is okay. We don't need to throw in the towel. We don't need to say the season is a bust. It was predominantly prospects who played well. They played their butts off. So we will discuss the game. And then oddly enough, our third burning question for the week will be the rookies and the prospects. And if you're just joining us for the first time this week, each day during this week, we'll be doing one burning question each day. So like I said, today was rookies. Day one was injuries. Day two, which was yesterday, was depth. So today will be rookies, and it's perfect timing because we got a look of a lot of them yesterday against Vegas. So I think the only veterans that showed up, you could say, would be Jason Megna, Val Nichushkin, Logan O'Connor. He's got some experience. Jack Johnson. Maybe you want to throw Jacob McDonald in there. Keaton Middleton, but that's, not a ton. So, I mean, it was pretty much Nichushkin was your big body there, which is good. This is kind of what you want. This is what you want to see. Now, this is not going to be what you're going to see for the duration of the preseason. And I saw a lot of people commenting on social media, like, why would Vegas put up their, because Vegas had Pietrangelo going. They had Kolasar going. They had Carlson there. Alex Martinez. Like, they had a lot more. Marchessault was playing. They had a lot more of their staples playing. But this is their second preseason game. So this was the Avalanche first preseason game. I'm willing to bet. I didn't go back and look, but I'm willing to bet the Vegas first preseason game was something similar to what Colorado put out there. So was it a little bit unfair? I mean, if you want to say it was, say it was. But you have to look at it as a good thing. You have to look at it as, like, these are young kids on the Avalanche, and they're going up against not everything Vegas has to offer you, clearly, but a lot of good, talented players that are going to be daily players for Vegas. So let them have a go at it. And in spots, it showed that they were rookies, and prospects coming up. It's all right. You could tell it took a little while to get their legs under them, kind of making some blind passes, which were not good. Even Pavel Francouz, this is the first game he's played in a long time. And again, it showed. Even the first goal, I think he was not quick. It was a shot from the left corner, went off the post, and it went a rebound. I think it went right to, who was it? Patrick Brown. Sorry. And Francouz's reflexes were just non-existent. He knew it got by him, but it seemed like he was looking behind him forever, like just thinking it went in. When it hit the post, you should have been able to hear it and react a little bit better. But that's timing. That's just playing a little bit more. And all that stuff will eventually come. And he, in spots he looked rough, but in other spots I saw him recover quickly. And you saw when Vegas would make a cross ice pass, it's like he knew it was coming and he timed it perfectly and he shifted from left to right and made a good stop. So he had moments where you're like, okay, he's getting the hang of it. He's getting his legs back. He's getting back into the groove. But there were times where, yeah, he struggled, and that's to be expected. Where I think it really showed that Vegas had their, more of their daily players out there, and the Avalanche did not, was in the special teams, especially when Vegas was on the power play. It won them the game. They got a power play goal late in the third, which put them up 4-3, which was the final. And I think it took them less than 10 seconds. I think, who was it? It was Marchessault who got that, right? Yeah, Marchessault. So there was maybe 4 minutes and change left after they scored. So they had some opportunities. In the beginning, it was tough. It was tough to break through and really find some good momentum. I think they got outshot. Where's our shots on goal here? So they got outshot 7-11 in the first. They outshot Vegas 10-7 in the second. And in the third, Vegas outshot them 11-5. So Vegas wanted to clamp down, and they knew that they could, and they were going to make these kids work for it. And they only had 5 shots on net. It's not to say they didn't have some opportunities. So the last penalty, or I haven't even gotten to that yet. That's the bad. The Avalanche 0 for 7 on the power play. And it's odd because it wasn't like they couldn't sustain possession. They did. I think in most of them, it wasn't like they were crossing into the offensive zone and Vegas was standing them up, gaining possession, and then just, icing the puck. They were getting in the zone. They had some pretty good possessions. It didn't turn into a lot of shots on goal. The very last one that they had in the third maybe was their best one. And when I think it's your 7th power play, I hope it's your best one. You've had a lot of practice up until then. So, but they just couldn't get anything together. Now, if we're in the regular season and we have our big guns in there and our regular team, and they go 0 for 7 on the power play, we're having a much different discussion right now. And you lose 4-3. If you lose 4-3, you were 0 for 7 on the power play, and this game's in January, we're not happy. And Jared Bednar is not happy. And Nathan MacKinnon is not happy. So, but these guys, hey, they got 7 power plays out of the deal, and 7 times they got to work on it. So good and bad, to be expected. Trying to think of, well, we'll get into kind of like specifics of who. That's kind of like the gist of the game. Good flow. I thought they were quick. They kept up with Vegas. They weren't getting burned a lot. I thought they played relatively good defense. The offense struggled. Offense struggled to get anything going. And 22 shots on goal for the Avs, 29 for Vegas. So, I mean, considering who's out there, I don't think that's half bad. Giving up less than 30 goals with a lot of their good players out there. They fought hard. And then in the play or the preseason right now, if you want to do a shootout, you can, and they did. The Avs won that 3-2, I think it was. No, 2-1, 2-1, I think it was. And Shane Bowers was the one who put it home to win it. So we'll take a little break, and then we'll get into kind of specific players and who I thought kind of stood out, did well, and maybe some guys who didn't do so well. I think the good news is nobody was god awful. Nobody was like, oh my God, that guy, that cut him tomorrow. But still, obviously, room for improvement. But first, Direct TV Now. So does this sound familiar to you? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the rest of the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment that you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called Direct TV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with Direct TV Stream. And you can learn more at directtv.com. Once again, that website is directtv.com with compatible devices, and content varies by package. Also, Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar on the market. And did you know that they have so many delicious flavors that there is something for everyone? And if you haven't tried them, you can choose between flavors such as coconut, raspberry, mint brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel. The list goes on and on. They had a cherry lime that's a limited edition. Yeah, get on that. If you haven't tried them, if you haven't tried all the flavors, you can get a mixed box where you'll get 2 each of 9 flavors available. Not only are Built Bar flavors the best tasting, but they are healthy. 17 to 18 grams of protein. Calories range from 130 to 180. Only 4 to 5 grams of sugar. Only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Amazing flavors. All tasty and all healthy. So you can go to BuiltBar.com right now, use the promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off of your order. Once again, that promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at BuiltBar.com. All right, so individually, you have to bring up Oskar Olausson. He got the Avs on the board. His first, I think it was his first shot on goal. And the Vegas was up 1-0 at that point. So, this was like the Avs were struggling to get anything going. And it was a nice pass from Val Nichushkin. Like guys like that, like Nichushkin, when they're playing in a game like this, and Grant, like I said, Vegas, yeah, they'd had more big name guys going than the Avs, but still, a guy with like Nichushkin who's kind of really settled in to a nice spot here with the Avs. A beautiful pass right to Olausson, who put it home. And I mean, guys smile anyway when they score, but man, that kid had a smile painted on his face, and he did score in the the shootout too. So a goal in regulation, a goal in the shootout. Yeah. So Oskar Olausson is on his way. The other guy who played exceptionally well, Jack Johnson. Don't adjust your sets. Amazing. Very good defensively. Had some really nice poke checks that stopped some good rushes by Vegas. And he scored in the third to start the scoring about 6 minutes in. And that got the Avs ahead. They were up 3-2 at that point. But on top of that, he was out there a ton. 20 minutes on ice. I don't know the last time he's done that. He also threw in an assist. So that, that adds up to 2 points. He's a +1. He did have a penalty, but a couple shots on goal. He was impressive. He's the type of guy you want to see him do this again, but you're playing on a PTO and you can go sign with anybody. Technically, this might have turned some heads for some people because that was a much improved game for Jack Johnson. Bone Byram is a cut above the rest. He the confidence that guy has is pretty amazing. And the same goes for Olausson. Olausson was on power plays many times. And he would be in what you would think is like the Mikko Rantanen, so on the right side, and comfortable. And he had the puck a lot in those power plays. And it's not like he just took the puck and then tried to get rid of it as soon as possible. He'd skate around with it for a little bit, find the right guy, find the right pass, and then make the connecting pass. So Yeah, I can go on about Olausen a lot. Byram, like I said, he's going to be just he's going to be up there with Cale Makar. How I always say I don't have a favorite, but Cale Makar's trending that way. Byram could be something similar. Logan O'Connor, really, I liked how he played. Like, he's just so fast. And, I think we're anticipating him being on the fourth line for this season. And, man, he's going to cause fits for some people. And this could be a year where he has a really good season playing on a fourth line. And you always look for those guys on those bottom six, especially the fourth line, of who's the best out on the ice and who's taking control during those fourth line minutes. He could be that guy. Wasn't like amazing, but always involved in play, and his speed just shows. So I thought Bowers played well. I didn't really think Darren Helm played all that well. He had a missed opportunity early on before the Olausen goal, where I wish I could remember who passed it over to him. It might have been, I don't remember. It could have been Bowers. I could be wrong on that. Or no, actually, you know what? I think it was Bukaj who had a pretty nice pass over to him for a one-timer pretty close to the net, and he whiffed on it. Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. But it was just an missed opportunity. So I didn't see anything from him that really just stood out. Again, didn't do anything where I'm like, we got to move on from him. But nothing was amazing. I thought, and you heard a lot about Anisimov and his training camp, how he seems like a little bit slow. I thought he was okay. I thought he was involved a lot. He's not where he might struggle is when you are playing with all of your household names, because he's not going to be able to keep up. And that's been the rub on him for training camp, is that he struggles. But, so a lot of these young guys are quick and fast, and he was there. I thought he had a pretty decent game. And then as far as the goalies go, was split time basically between Francouz and Johansson. And we talked about Francouz. I'm not worried about it. I'm just glad he got out there and is back out on the ice. Made some good saves, and there's definitely some rust he's got to wear off. And Johansson, I think he struggled a bit. So, and that's going to happen for goalies early on. Overall, I think there's a lot you can take out of it. You almost had this game won, and if you could have pulled this thing out with the team that you had against the team that they had, I think we're kind of singing praises a little bit more. But obviously, there's things that need tightening up, and that power play is definitely one of them. You get, even if you're 2 out of 7, that's still not great, but it wins you the game. As far as hits go, because I think it's going to be a sticking point for the Avs this year, is how physical are they being. They were tied with Vegas, 27 each, but some not so nice things being done at the very end of the game. Who was it? I know Pietrangelo. He took a penalty with like 5 seconds left on a cross check on, I think it was Bowers that he had. I'm almost positive it was Bowers. And prior to that, I think Bowers cross checked someone on Vegas, which didn't get called, which probably should have. Instead of Pietrangelo arguing to the refs, he decides to take it in his own hands and just whack him on the back a couple times. And they call it with 5 seconds left. The Avs had the goalie pulled, and they had an opportunity. Jacob McDonald had a pretty good shot, pretty good look that just went wide. But that was pretty much really the only time in the game that you had players kind of getting in each other's faces with 5 seconds left. But it was, stuff like that's dangerous, and they're calling it. And that was completely deliberate on both sides. But Pietrangelo's was just egregious. And they called it, but 5 seconds left. What are you going to do? You do what you can, and they almost made something happen. But like I said, all in all, I think this was okay. We'll see game 2. I think it's against Minnesota. You'll probably see more substantial names come back, not all at once. But this is how it works. And I think a lot of people wanted to see all of these Avalanche prospects that we've been hearing so much about for so long. And we got to see a lot of them. And I think most people are happy with this, because here's the thing. If injuries happen this year, a lot of people are going to go back to this game and say, like, hey, they can hold their own. A couple guys got to come up and they got to step up and fill in for this guy. I think some people are going to be happy about it. And maybe it's a very small sample size, but sometimes it's, all really people are going to go on anyway. So yeah, I think overall good game. Now, who and what can we expect from the rookies and the prospects this year? That's what we'll get into next, before we hear from betonline.ag. And we are back with another football season. It is upon us. And as always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, betonline.ag continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up. And when you do, you will receive a 100% welcome bonus that is double your initial deposit just for signing up. And don't forget to use the promo code NFL100. From football, basketball, boxing, obviously hockey, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. Bet online, it's the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action, and it's your online sportsbook expert. All right. So that is a burning question for the Avalanche this year. How much are they going to use their prospects and rookies? It obviously remains to be seen. But like I just said, I think this game, for the coaching staff and for, Joe Sakic, they're happy. They're happy because this is what they wanted. They wanted a competitive game that you were in. If this thing was 8-0 and you couldn't get anything going, there's some questions. Even though it's only one preseason game, they didn't show you anything. This is an opportunity, and games like this, it's like, who is going to take advantage of the opportunity? And I think a good amount of guys did. So what does this mean for the duration of the season? Well, it's something that we've talked about many times in the offseason, and how the Avalanche didn't really bring in bigger names, for depth players, for bottom six players. They didn't really bring in anybody that says, like, wow, that guy's going to slot in right there immediately. And I think that the thinking was, a lot of it was, well, we have all these guys. When are we going to give them an opportunity? When? Guys like Martin Kaut, is this the year he finally gets brought up and is a staple for the team? It's going to happen where these guys get a look. It's maybe a problem because they have so many guys to pick from. Who do you select? And that's, for the coaching staff to decide who's head and shoulders above everybody else. But how much will they rely upon them? I think a good amount. I really do. I think we're going to see more of the youth movement, another youth movement for the Avalanche than we've really ever seen. And not only did the prospects make it difficult, guys like Jack Johnson, who I don't think really people were expecting him to do anything. He's now that's thrown another wrench into it. I think if the Avs saw like their prospects doing well and be like, okay, that's what we're going to lean on when we need to lean on it. And now you have a veteran like Jack Johnson saying, like, stand aside, Rook. I still got some game in me. So this is all a good problem to have, because now you, and granted, it's one game. Again, I want to go back and say that we could play against Minnesota and he could fall flat on his face, and then we'll be talking different about it. But for right now, how you're feeling right now is we feel good about calling up specific guys if needed. And I don't want to say if needed, when needed, because it's going to be necessary. We know from the past couple seasons, I don't know if it's a stigma that follows the Avalanche around, but injuries are going to happen. And how much do you rely on it? And where do you slot those guys in? And we saw last year, Bednar's not afraid to, he brings in Alex Newhook, puts him right on the second line. He brings up Sampo Ranta. It's during the playoffs against Vegas. So you're expected when your number is called to get over to Denver and get ready to play and play some minutes. That's what I want to look at too, is as far as minutes went for these guys, Alex Bukaj was the second lowest. Dalton Smith was the lowest at 8 minutes. Bukaj was just short of 10. Let's see. Megna had the most. I'm looking for Olausen had 15 and a half. Byram with almost 25. On the defensive end, there's really everybody got good minutes on the defensive end. So, guy like Olausen, 15 minutes, and he's not going to be up there this year, guy like him. But those are precious minutes for him. So, yeah. Bottom line here is how much will the Avs rely on their prospects? And I am here to tell you probably a good amount. Be prepared to see. And when we're talking, we have to include Newhook and Ranta and Byram. Those are all included. Even though Ranta didn't play, even though Newhook didn't play, Byram did. We can't just, because we know, especially Newhook is going to probably be a staple. We can't ignore him in this conversation. So, and what about guys like Martin Kaut? People are waiting, and he is too. Could this be the year we're like, okay, now we're turning to you? Maybe not right away. Maybe not when the season starts. But, I mean, I guess this is a good question. Who is the first guy? Who is the first prospect that the Avalanche, when it's necessary to call someone up, who is the first guy? Is it Kaut? Is it Bowers? Justin Barron's another one. Did I skip over him? I did. I didn't even talk about Justin Barron. He's another one. Phenomenal. I thought he played great. He is sneaky good. He's kind of like a lanky guy. What's his, let me find it. I think he's tall, and he's probably, he's 6'2". Yeah, 6'2", 195. That's an NHL body ready to go. He's going to make it difficult on the defensive end. If they need help on D, someone gets hurt on the blue line, he has practiced his way into getting called up earlier than expected. All of this is stuff that the Colorado Avalanche have to navigate. Who are we going to bring up? I'm glad I'm not in that position, but I think the thing to remember is it's almost like it doesn't matter. You can almost do like a bingo ball, just draw a name and a number and call them up. They're not going to do that, but it's almost like you're comfortable with whoever they call. So, yeah, good things are now and for the future for the Colorado Avalanche. And I say that today, and we'll see what happens after Minnesota. But that will be it for today, everybody. Tomorrow, we will get to the physical nature of the Avalanche, and that is a big burning question for them. Do they need to be more physical, and did they address that need in the offseason? So we'll talk about that tomorrow, and anything else that might happen. So, again, thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. Definitely make your second listen. Head over on to Locked On NHL, and they'll break down a lot of what's going on in the preseason right now. So head over there and definitely check it out on Thursday when Adam and I host the show. So, yeah, that's going to be it for today, everybody. Always appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Here's Jovi.